Today, I'm very pleased to welcome to the podcast William Branum. He's from this company, I guess, concept, Naked Warrior Recovery. Go follow him over on Instagram. And he is a Navy SEAL, owned and operates his business. I've actually got all kinds of his supplements here, NW Recovery. This is my favorite thing that you sell, dude. I love these gummies. I have to show them on camera. I literally wake up in the morning and I grab one of these bad boys. This is the green apple. That's the favorite one. You've also got this. What is it? Where's the other one? Strawberry lemonade gummies. They're a little bit tart for me. The green apple is like really, hits the spot for a little sweet something. But then I'm also getting the benefits of the CBD in there. So highly recommend you guys go check out his company, nw-recovery.com. And what you do today is you help veterans, first responders, recover. This is so good. I love just sucking on this thing. Recover from pain, improve their sleep, help with their stress and anxiety. And you offer CBD products as well as like the coaching and everything to help people. So welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on here. So it's interesting. There's like a 49-51 split between green apple and strawberry lemonade. Some people are like, I love the green apple. Other people are like, I love the strawberry lemonade. And so I'm like, I will just keep carrying both because
I'll show the other one. Here's the strawberry lemonade, and it sounds like a good flavor, and it is. It's just got a little bit of a wang for me, but that's okay. Like, look, we all have our preferences.
It changes, but between batches, and but also there's another thing that a former sommelier, I think that's how you say that word, one of those wine smart people, trained on how to do wine and the smart stuff about wine. He told me that. I told him, I'm like, listen, if you take the gummies and you put them in the fridge, any of that tartness goes away. And he was like, oh, you know what? The reason for that is the cold temperature actually reduces whatever bitterness in tart flavors. That's why they chill a white wine.
Well, that's interesting.
To take that tartness out of it.
That's interesting to know. Plus, it does have CBD in it. And if anybody that's had straight up CBD, which I have for years, I've taken CBD forever, but you still never get over that grass taste. And so it has a little bit of the earthiness to it that you have to get around. But if I get the benefits from the CBD, I don't care what it tastes like. I'm putting it in my mouth and in my body, and it gives me great benefits. But let's back up because I want to talk about your company, and I've got all kind of your products here. We will pull out and show on camera later. But you're a former Navy SEAL, and you through a lot of stuff in your life as it relates to pain and stress and sleeplessness, and you went through training. Tell us a bit of your story, because you don't just hop into going into business with CBD and everybody and their mama's doing that these days. Why did you get into it? Tell us your Navy SEAL experience and your life experiences that led you to starting this company.
Sure. So I grew up in Meridian, Mississippi. Or just outside of Meridian, Mississippi. There's not a whole lot that happens in that part of the world.
My web guy is actually from that area.
Shut up. That's crazy.
Shout out to Hank. There's your blood brother, a Navy SEAL.
There you go, Hank. Hank, take care of us. So I grew up down there. There's not a whole lot going on down there. And but I grew up running around in the woods. I was in the Boy Scouts. I was an Eagle Scout. I was not a very good student, but I found out that I've got maybe like something called ADD. They call it. They diagnose it now. It's
back in the day they called it BRAT.
Right. My dad would not stand for any of that.
Yes.
Hammer. He was the hammer. So there was none of that. My sister maybe, but I noticed that my daughter has. It's probably worse than I was now, but but I found stuff that interested me. I liked running around the woods. I liked hunting, shooting guns, And the Boy Scouts gave me sort of that outlet. And
Yeah.
so I always knew that I wanted to be some sort of commando, although I didn't know what a commando really was. I knew who John Rambo was. I knew
Yeah.
who Chuck Norris was in the movie uh, Delta Force. I knew
Right.
who John Wayne was in Green Beret. I watched a lot of Kung Fu theater, and I wanted to be a ninja when I grew up. And something, I wanted to like have that lifestyle. And
Yes.
so I went to a national jamboree, and a kid talked to me about he was going to join the Navy and become an F-14 fighter pilot. I'm like, I want to do that too, and I want to become a Navy SEAL. What's that? Oh, it's like these elite, like Green Beret or Army Ranger, but harder training, more specialized operations. I'm like, that's what I want to do. That's about as closest to becoming a ninja I think that I can do. So let's go become a ninja. And so I joined the Navy. I eventually got to SEAL training it took me 3 years from the day that I joined the Navy just to get to SEAL training because I made some errors along the way, tactical errors. Eventually got there. SEAL training is 6 months long. It took me a short 13 months to get through it. I was injured several times, mostly because I didn't prepare myself physically. I was mentally prepared. I wasn't physically prepared to go through it. I went to the SEAL teams and then spent the rest of my 26 years in the SEAL teams. And I have a lot of deployments. I've got some baggage from those deployments. I've eventually retired. I use air quotes there because I don't think I will ever retire and sit on my back porch drinking lemonade. But, retired from the military, and that transition was very difficult for me. Going from, having a team, having a purpose, having a mission to having nothing. And no one ever really helped prepare me or gave me any real guidance. And it's not anyone else's fault. It's my fault because I didn't prepare for that transition. But during that transition, I got a lot of baggage, what I call baggage. I don't call it PTSD or anything else because we all have crap that we carry around with us. And, so what I was doing to turn off that noise in my head is I would pretty much drink myself to sleep every night. Not super healthy, not good for the brain, not good for the body, not good for really anything because the next day you're pretty much useless. And then that causes more stress and anxiety. And so I eventually discovered CBD, and it was a modality that helped turn that noise down in my head so that I could start having a little bit better positive self-talk instead of all that negative crap that was running around up there. And then I met someone in the CBD industry, and I really wanted to work for her. And she was like, why don't you just start your own company? And I was like, I don't know how to do that. She said, you're a Navy SEAL, right? I'm like, yeah, then go figure it out. I'm like, all right, may I please have my man card back? And so she gave me my man card back, and I went out and I started researching the CBD industry, and I found out it's like pretty dirty. It's super corrupt. I know that there's CBD shop on every corner of America in gas stations.
Unregulated would be a great word for it. Yes.
And it's still a very new industry. There's still a lot that we don't know about it. But it is a very high performing. There's a lot of really great data that is continuing to come out through PubMed, through, CBD was illegal until 2018, until December of 2018.
Right.
Yeah. And so now that it's legal, it's everywhere.
What is it? 3% or less THC in this?
0.3% or less. Right. So that, it comes from the cannabis plant. Yes. And for it to be hemp, hemp has 0.3% or less THC in the dried weight of the plant.
Right. Yeah, because
so you can't really tell what it is until you actually you can cut it and then test the oil, but yeah.
So I remember when I went to a local store, one of these CBD pop-up stores, and I was asking them about the THC content because, again, I was still learning too. And they're like, oh, no, the law here in South Carolina, no more than this, and we're below that. And I'm like, okay. And so, you still have these people that think you get high off of CBD oil. That just trips me out. It's like,
right.
No, you just get the nastiness of the marijuana plant, but without all the.
But I'm a child of Nancy Reagan's war on drugs. Just say no.
Yes, no.
This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Crack the egg, put it in the skillet.
Yes.
And
Yes,
so
yes.
and I've been in the military pretty much my entire adult life. So drugs are bad. Okay. Yeah. Don't do it. So it took me a year after I retired from the military to even try it for the first time. And I tried it because I was just at a point where I'm like, I need to do something different. And I kept hearing about this molecule CBD, but I was still afraid to try it.
Yeah. Well, look, when you hear even cannabidiol oil, that's what CBD stands for. And people, oh my gosh, cannabidiol, that's cannabis.
Cannabis.
And I'm like, look, do you know that in your body there are multiple cannabinoid systems that like take that in and use it? And people are like, cannabinoid what? Like they have no idea. Such an opportunity for education if people would be willing to put in the education, which is hard for a small business owner like yourself. And then people even independently looking into this. I've had people on and off this show over the years talking about that, but it's like it's still people have this stigma, and I guess that's the hard part of having a CBD company.
Right. 100%. I mean, the other hard part about it is there's so many companies out there. And, you know, someone asked me once upon a time, they were like, so what's the difference between your CBD and the CBD that I can get in the gas station over here? And really the answer is, what's the difference between the sushi that you get at a sushi house and the sushi that you get at that same gas station?
Yes.
Are you really going to roll the bones with gas station sushi? Because you don't know what's in that product. Maybe there's CBD, maybe there's not. Maybe there's a bunch of heavy metals, you know, mercury, arsenic, lead, things like that. Pesticides. You don't know where it came from. You don't know the background. Has it been, you know, independent third party tested, from oil to final product? What are you actually putting in your body?
Yes. And you get what you pay for. Like, look, if you want some cheap, cannabidiol oil is not cheap. And so like you've got all kinds of little products here. You got your super greens. You got some of these little CBD energy drinks. So if you like those energy drinks, guys, he's got different things for that. Obviously, this is a favorite as well, just the straight up oil. But it's not just the oil. It's like key lime. This stuff is so good. I remember when I had it, I was like, it's not going to taste like lime. And then I'm like, whoa, that tastes like key lime pie. It's really nice.
It's not bad, right?
And it's not bad. You don't get any of that.
Not bad.
To it. You got all kind of stuff. And you keep
when we came out with that flavor, I was like, oh, I don't know. And then I was like, that's actually not bad.
Citrus, something acidic was perfect to kind of cut that CBD taste. And so good job. But like, dude, all of this stuff, it's high quality, and it's like, yeah, you get what you pay for. You get the benefits that you want when you invest the money. People are, oh, it's so expensive. And it's like, okay, you can go buy cheap stuff. It's cut with hemp oil and God knows what else they put in there. It's not going to give you the benefits that you're looking for. I got my mom, by the way, on CBD products. She has a knee that's just chronically hurts. And so I said, Mom, take it orally and then get some unflavored one to rub right on it. And she used it the very first time, William, and she's like, what is this magical product?
Right.
And it's beautiful that when people find out, and like, if you're reticent, you're watching this right now, or you're listening on my podcast and you're reticent about trying, go over and try the product. I promise you, it's not going to hurt you. You're not going to have a drug test come back positive for marijuana if you're worried about that at work. You're going to get benefit because the body loves this stuff, and it's for pain, it's for sleep, it's for variety, stress reduction, managing stress. nw-recovery.com. I had to get that in there one more time before we get into the meat of what we talk about, but your products are great, and I think you're doing a wonderful job as a small business owner. I know it's hard to get your message out, but I'm glad you're here today.
Always the grind.
Yes, got to always stay in the grind. Let's shift gears away from the promotional, because that's cool and all, but I love the idea of how you help people manage stress. And with all that we've been through over the past 2 years, it's been a hell of a last 2 years. And people have been overwhelmed. I read all these statistics, William, about the kids that are attempting suicide. and you've got kids yourself, so you know, like, the mental impact of these past 2 years collectively as a society. Never mind all the other shit that people were already dealing with. Now
Right.
they've got this on top of that. What are some tips? I mean, you're a Navy SEAL. You had to stay pretty chill in very intense situations. Tell us some of the secrets that you've learned.
So, it's interesting. You just mentioned like young people committing suicide. I just saw I didn't read the article this morning. I am, 5 hours behind you, so I've still got some time to do it. But I saw an article headline that caught my eye, and it said that more younger service members are committing suicide than ever before.
Yes.
And I was like, dude, that's I can't even conceptualize that. But our mission at Naked Warrior Recovery is really that 22-0, 22 veterans take their lives every single day. And I was doing a podcast a few months ago with 2 other SEALs, and we were just kind of bantering back and forth. And then at some point, it just sort of came out of my mouth that my dad had also committed suicide, and I'd never even spoken that out loud, and connected the dots. And so maybe that was something that was sort of brewing in the back of my mind. So my dad is one of those 22. So I'm, that makes it even more personal for us to try to make that number, from 22 to 21, or, 0 is the goal, always the goal. But, my journey and some of my struggles, I became a SEAL. I did some pretty cool stuff. I've deployed a bunch. I got some baggage. Some of it's from work, and some of it's from some pretty toxic relationships. And so, and we'll just leave it at that. But that created all this stress and anxiety in my brain, and and that was one of the things that was really helping me drink myself to sleep at night.
Yeah.
So once I used CBD, and over time, and just to kind of just touch on CBD really quickly, and then we'll roll back into this, is mostly you don't feel anything when you take CBD. What ends up happening is you feel less. You feel less stress, less anxiety, less pain. There's less inflammation, so it becomes less, and it's very gradual. I talk about, I was, water boils at 212 degrees. I was probably living at that 210 degree point, so it didn't take much to my fuse was very short to push me into that mental shit show. And so, but taking CBD, I didn't notice it until several weeks later that I went from 210 to 205 to 200 to 195 to 190, out of that red zone and more into an orange. And now I live in the yellow to green. I get yellow to green all the time. I very rarely will hit that red zone. I mean, it can happen, but it's got to be something pretty substantial. But once CBD helped turn the noise down so that I could have better positive self-talk instead of 98% negative self-talk. I had to figure out a way to think the right way all the time. And I've gone through a lot of adversity. This is other adversity that I was not prepared for. So I went back on my training. I went back to my 26 years of service and figured out how can I maintain this positive self-talk? And then once I figured that out, how can I share it with other people? And so what I did is I came up with this acronym, and it's called NAKED, which is super easy to remember. Everyone will remember naked because we all like to get naked because that's how we came into the world.
A lot of people ask me, Jimmy, how do you get such good deep sleep? Well, there's a lot of things that I do, but one of the newest things that I recently added is this upgraded magnesium from a company called Upgraded Formulas. Go to their website, upgradedformulas.com, and you can learn all about this nano technology that they use for this particular mineral of magnesium. Again, it's called Upgraded Magnesium, and it's got all the different forms of magnesium in it using the nanotechnology, so it gets absorbed a lot better. Guys, I have seen my deep sleep improve by as much as 30 to 40% simply by adding in this product along with sunshine exposure, darkness in the room, cooler temperature, all of the things that I always have done. So again, upgradedformulas.com is the website. Go check them out.
And but it's not about, oh man, Oh, whoa.
Dude, I've been getting an ice bath every single day since the beginning of the year. And, I could be self-conscious about not wearing a shirt, but I'm not. I don't care anymore. So,
I see you post on Instagram all the time.
yes.
I'm like, you go.
I've got
Get some, Jimmy.
Free from the ice as of yesterday. I got like big old toes that got cut up pretty bad. So.
Oh, man.
But I'm talking to a Navy SEAL. I'm going to suck it up.
Yeah, exactly. I did an ice bath. I don't have quite the capability that you have there right now. I'm working on it, but I did one in Wyoming a few weeks ago or a few months ago with a buddy of mine. He has this organization called oh my God, Man Made, and really it's about celebrating men being men and he's got some really where you break guys down and then build them back up and so I went out and kind of supported some of that stuff, and towards the end is like a 5-minute soak in a ice barrel. And I've done hard things. I've been in cold environments, cold water. That was very cold. And they're like, it's only cold for a minute, and it's true, but it's the longest minute of your life. Once you get used to it, like you just have to okay, do not get out of the water, just stay there, be brave, be strong. Oh my God. And then you're like, okay, I got this. No big deal. But whoa, that's a long 60 seconds.
I've been going on camera and committing to 5 minutes. And most of the time, that first minute is me breathing myself calm.
Yeah,
100%. It's just a mental storm. It's not physical. I get a little prickly in my hands, but that's to be expected. And I busted my toes yesterday. That was unexpected. But the first minute is just literally just breathing myself to calm down. And it dawned on me, William, why don't we do that with every stressful situation in life? When things start to hit and you feel overwhelmed, before you get to 212 degrees, like you were talking about, why don't we just focus on the breath? Think positive thoughts, get out in some sunshine, ground, literally anything to bring you back in. And I don't feel like we, especially as Americans, we don't handle stress very well.
No, we're not used to being we're not used to doing hard things. And, doing those ice baths or working out or anything that challenges your status quo, gets you out of your comfort zone will change your mind. Just getting up and move from where you are. Like maybe you're at your office, you're at your desk and you're stressing out over deadlines, and get in your car and go drive somewhere. Go for a walk. Just changing your position will change your mindset 100% of the time. You can take that baggage with you. That's fine. But you're going to be in a different place mentally and physically just by getting up and moving to a physically different place. But so I don't even know how I got going down that road. But
look, that's what makes conversations on a podcast.
It's awesome. But, and we were talking about getting naked. So, I came up with this acronym of there we go again. I'm not wearing pants right now, by the way. So, but you can't see that. But so what I realized is I had all this ego that I've been carrying around my entire life. I wear it like it's body armor, like I'm going into combat. And some of it is just low self-esteem, low whatever. And people are like, you don't have that. You're a Navy SEAL. You've done all these great things. I'm like, yeah, okay. Well, I've got some baggage from childhood, fear of failure. I was in a super elite organization where you don't fail. Like if you fail, you pay very dearly for those consequences. And when you're doing it for real and life or death is on the line, you definitely don't fail. So, or you do everything that you can to not fail. So a lot of ego, a lot of I can't look weak, I can't be, I can't fail, I can't whatever. Now I'm on the outside. There are things that are outside of my control, and I don't know how to deal with it. But I was, CBD helped kind of turn back the volume of the noise in my head, and then I started really putting forth effort on how do I fix my wagon over here? And so what I realized is I have to take my ego off and be a little bit vulnerable. That was the hardest thing to do, and it's probably the hardest thing for anyone to do. You have to be brave enough. And people are like, oh, you're not scared of anything. I'm like, you're a Navy SEAL. No, I've got lots of fears. But you have to be brave enough to be vulnerable. And that is like a weird concept that most people have a hard time wrapping their head around. But once you become brave enough,
is weakness, vulnerability in our culture.
Right.
Oh, well, you're weak. And it's like, no, the strongest thing you can be is vulnerable, and being willing to be real with yourself and with other people. Like
100%.
we live in a fake society now, William. I just wish people would just be real. Say what you mean what you say, and move on with your life.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard because culture gets it, the society gets in the way because we're afraid to look like a failure. But you have to take that ego off and set it in the corner, and be exposed. And maybe you'll be attacked when you're like that, and that's okay. You'll get through it. You're not going to die. Although we do fear death sometimes when we're in there. We feel like we're going to die. But take that ego off and set it in the corner. But really, naked is the mindset about it. It's about never quit. The N stands for never quit. And I'll kind of go over each one of these a little bit. Never quit. The A is accept failure. The K is to kill mediocrity. The E is expose your fears, and we've talked about fear a good bit. And the D is do the work, because you can't improve your life without doing work to physically go forth and take action. So in order to remember that acronym a little bit better, I put the word GET in front of it because we're talking about taking action. So to think like a Navy SEAL, to use these 5 SEAL secrets, you have to get naked. And so that's the motto that I live by, and that's what I really teach people. And you can apply these 5 SEAL secrets into pretty much anything you do in your life. But what I tell people is don't focus on all 5, or don't focus on your entire life or everything that's going on in your life. Focus on one area in your life that you need to improve. What area do you want to improve over everything else? And then take these 5 secrets of never quit, accept failure, kill mediocrity, expose your fears, and do the work, and apply them to that one area. And once you master that one area of your life with these 5 SEAL secrets, then apply it to the next area, and then the next, and then the next.
The hard part, though, William, is convincing people of those 5 things, because there's a lot of narratives, there's a lot of things people believe just because they believe them. And it's kind of this thing that they've told themselves that they're a certain way. And so when you start talking about trying to overcome mediocrity and to face your fears, people are like, but I am mediocre, but I am fearful, but I am. And it's like they identify so strongly in certain areas of their life that when you try to say, well, implement this get naked strategy, it doesn't compute. So how do you penetrate that resistance, the imposter syndrome, the whatever you want to call it, that people feel like they're faking it to make it real for them?
Dude, I have the most imposter syndrome of anyone I know. And I'm like, why does anyone want to listen to me? But as I've gone through this journey, I've figured it out. And it's not easy, and it takes practice. And this is like working out. It's like if you want to have strong muscles, you have to go to the gym and you have to break them down and then build them back up. If you want to be a better runner, you have to run. If you want whatever you want, if you want to be a better reader, you want to have more knowledge in your head, you have to read. You have to write if you want to be a better writer. And so if you want to improve your life, you have to take action and do it. It doesn't have to be all at one time, and I encourage everyone to not do it all at one time. That's why I say pick one spot. Don't try to change your whole life. Pick one thing and work on that one thing every single day. Whether it's just like getting out of bed on time when your alarm clock goes off, or going to bed, which is the hardest thing for me, is going to bed when I'm supposed to.
I've heard
and planning out the day.
I've heard
CBD does help. It's a game changer. Game changer for me anyway. So when I say never quit, I don't mean like never quit, getting out of a toxic relationship. Like if you're in a bad relationship, get out of that thing. Don't stay in there. Like never quit on yourself. Never quit on trying to improve your life, improve your quality of life. Never, if you've started a project, a program, maybe a degree, you want to start a company, you want to write a book, like if it was good enough and it was bold enough and it was hard enough for you to like go through the mental gymnastics to decide, yes, I'm going to do this, then you should take it all the way to the end. It
Yes.
doesn't matter what it is. And whatever that end looks like, it doesn't matter what the end looks like. Take it to the end. And so and if it's hard, that's good. Because if it's hard to do, then not everyone is going to try to do it. There's a saying out there, it's something like the 1% do what the 99% don't want to do.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Yeah.
So do hard stuff and then finish it. And so, but you can't finish it all in one day. You can't, maybe not all in 1 week or 1 year. Maybe it's going to be a 10-year thing, but as long as you do it every single day, you're going to get it done. You're going to finish it. And there's the saying, Rome wasn't built in a day, but I guarantee you it was built every single day until it became an empire. Yes. And so we have this week during SEAL training. It's one week of the 26 weeks. It's called Hell Week, and it's 5.5 days of no sleep. You don't sleep. You're cold. You're wet. You're miserable. You carry this boat around on your head. They keep you in the Pacific Ocean because it's cold and it sucks, and have you do all these other crazy things. And you fail and you fail and you fail. But it doesn't matter. But one thing is constant during that week is they feed you 4 times a day. And so no matter how much it sucks, all you have to do is make it to that next meal. And so when I say make it to that next meal, I say that's creating small victories in your life. So if you have like, you have this big thing that you got to do, well, break that thing up into bite-sized pieces. Maybe you need to, you're starting your business. Well, there's our steps. So figure out what those steps are and even make them smaller if you need to, and accomplish one step every single day until you get all the way to the end. Maybe you're writing a book, write a paragraph, write a sentence. That's how you get there. And you write one paragraph every day. And in 3 years, maybe you have a book.
I'm currently on my 10th book, and I'm at the tail end of it. And it's literally, thank you. It's literally a process of just consistency. Everybody's like, wow, how'd you write 7 books in 7 years? Now you're on your 10th book in your career. And I'm like, one word at a time.
Exactly.
It literally is no harder than that. And some days I'm feeling it and going like crazy. Yep. Other days I'm like, I got nothing. So I step away, get some fresh air, come back. Okay, I can do a couple of paragraphs, and then I've done something. So you're right. Literally, everybody wants to take that big chunk all at one time, at whatever the big thing is that they want. And that's not how any successful person ever gets through life. It's always a little bit, lot of bit, lot of bit, lot of bit. And before long, you get to where you're trying to be.
Right. At least do the minimum. Create the minimum, do the minimum. And if you feel like doing more, that's awesome. That's a bigger win. But at least you got that small victory.
It's like the credit card. You can pay that $20 minimum balance, or you can take a chunk at it. I don't have credit card debt anymore, but when I did, there were some months I'm like, it's all I can do to do the min payment, and move on with life. So, what you got there? What's that big old drink?
This was just coffee.
Oh, that's your coffee. What's the
coffee?
What's the logo?
And this is
your logo.
It's my logo, yeah. And so you talked about the energy drink earlier. So I don't do New Year's resolutions, but last year, that's it. I probably around February. If I don't do New Year's resolutions because I'm like, why would I wait till the beginning or the end of the year to start something? Like when I decide to do it, I just do it. And so I think around February last year, dude, that stuff is amazing. I decided I should probably drink a gallon of water a day. And so water is boring. And so I have this half-gallon Hydro Flask. I put a packet of the CBD energy drink in there, fill it with ice and water, and I do 2 of those a day. And that's how I roll. That's how I get my gallon of water. But I also, before I have while my first cup of coffee is brewing, I drink this cup of water, first thing in the morning. So making these decisions, and I do it every day, that consistency, I can't drink a gallon of water until I drink a glass of water. Mm-hmm. So it's like creating those small victories, and the more victories that you achieve, the better you will feel, the more accomplished you'll feel, and the more stuff you'll get done, 1 step at a time, 1 inch at a time, 1% at a time. It doesn't matter. Just never quit. The A is accept failure, because we're talking about doing stuff, but failure is the master plan to success. I have
Yeah.
learned more through failure than I ever have by doing things the right way.
I'm so glad you said it in that many words, William, because I feel like people think failure is the end. Failure, you guys, is just the beginning. Failure is congratulations, you're one step closer to the success you've been looking for. People, especially in the business world, they'll try a business idea and they'll quote unquote fail. I don't even like the word fail. It's a 4-letter F word. I don't really like that because I feel like people make it literally the 4-letter F word that everybody else thinks about. But it's not. It's literally that stepping stone to your eventual
100%.
success. Look, I had book publishers turn me down 3 or 4 times before I got my big break with a major publisher. And then once I got the big break, then I wrote 7 books in 7 years. And 3 of them were bestsellers. And I'm writing one now that I'm going back to self-publishing again. And I'm writing one now that I think is the most important book I've ever done. And so it's like, I would have never gotten to the 10th book if the first book that I tried to write failed because other people didn't believe in it. I believed in it. I knew someday that I would get there. And here we are.
Here we are. And so I was actually doing an interview, I think yesterday. And, you know, the girl I was talking to, she said failure is feedback. And I was like, that's beautiful.
Yes.
I love that. I love that analogy. I actually wrote a little email for my email people on that. So I'll share, you know, probably post that on Instagram later this week. But, you know, and I started thinking about that. I was like, you know, have you ever shot a steel target? I mean, not everyone has the opportunity to shoot steel targets, you know, close range, long range, or anything like that. But the beautiful thing about shooting a steel target versus a paper target is you get immediate feedback. You know if you hit that thing or not. Exactly. Ding!
I
ding,
did
ding,
that.
ding!
Oh, my dad said, here's a shotgun, shoot at that barrel over there, and say, you can see it blowing up. I grew up in Tennessee, so that's how we roll south. So.
Exactly. That's just how you got to do it. Not that different from Mississippi. They're touching. They're connected. So, but so failure is that master plan to get to success. You know, you mentioned it like it's a stairway. It's the rungs of the ladder. You know, Michael Jordan, he's missed more than 9,000 shots in his basketball career. He's lost more than 300 games. He missed more than 30 game-winning shots. And you know what he did every time he missed a shot in a game? He didn't go, whether he won or lost, he didn't go party with the team. He went back to the gym and he practiced that shot over and over in every scenario until he got it right. Elon, I started going into my keynote there, but Thomas Edison, the guy who created the incandescent light bulb, he discovered, and it's all about framing, he discovered 10,000 ways to not create the incandescent light bulb. He didn't have 10,000 failures. He had 10,000 ways to not create it. He just learned through failure. And that's the way that I look at failure. Most people don't. Most people, they fail something, they want to hide it and shove it under the rug. Hang that thing on the wall like it's a trophy. Hey, don't do this. I already know. This is like the master plan.
Let's do a baseball analogy. If you miss 2 out of 3 times at the plate, you are a Hall of Fame baseball player. If you swing and miss and strike out or whatever, or foul out or however, 2 out of 3 times, you are a Hall of Famer with a 333 average.
Right.
So how crazy is that? Did they succeed? Well, they missed 2 out of 3 times. So it's like you got to wrap your head around even the perception of what you think is failure might actually be success. It's like we set up success like it needs to be this perfect scenario, like every baseball player that gets in the Hall of Fame needs to bat 1,000. It's not going to happen. If they bat 400, we're like, oh my God, there must be an angel on top of their shoulder. How did they do that? Where 60% of the time they're still missing the ball.
Right. So
it is funny the way we conceptualize the concept of failure and reframe it. Failure is just, and I love failure is feedback. I've always said failure, missed opportunity, it's just information. And when you get that information, you take it, you learn from it, you grow from it, so that the next time you try not to fail or try not to have so much feedback the next time.
As badly, yes, exactly.
Have you experienced the dreaded keto flu? Did you know that most of these symptoms are actually due to your body dumping excess electrolytes? This is where Element comes in. Element is a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need and nothing you don't. That means lots of salt with no sugar. Element is formulated to help anyone with their electrolyte needs and is perfectly suited to folks following a keto, low-carb, or paleo diet. Element contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio, 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium, with none of the junk, no sugar, no coloring, no artificial ingredients, no gluten, no fillers, no BS. Everyone needs electrolytes, especially those on low-carb diets, or if you practice intermittent or extended fasting, if you're physically active or sweat a lot. Add Element today and see how much better you feel and perform. Use the URL drinklmnt.com/Jimmy.
And that leads right into the K, which is kill mediocrity. And so everyone wants to win all the time. Guess what? And society and technology has sort of driven us down that road. You're not gonna win every time, and you shouldn't win every time. And yeah, even though you can hit that button on your phone and have ice cream delivered to you in 30 minutes or less, you probably shouldn't do that either. Because we've been programmed that way, and and it's not like someone comes in and says, you're going to be mediocre today. It's this gradual, this is a little bit easier and that's a little bit better. Technology has created incredible innovation. Innovation is awesome. But you can't completely rely on technology. For example, in the SEAL teams or just in the military, I grew up when I would do land navigation with a map and a compass. I remember when GPSs came out, I did not trust them. You can't go I got a GPS on 3 different apps on my phone for GPS, probably 4. So I don't need that skill set anymore. But what happens when technology fails? You need to know how to do the actual thing.
Look, I go to a store and the kids don't know how to count back change.
Right.
And it's like $5 in change, and I give them a 10 and a 1. Their brains just explode.
How dare you use cash?
Like a $5 bill and then the coins back from the change. That's what I'm doing here. And okay. I probably could have told them, give me a 20 back, and they would have done it. It's amazing. Yes. Basic little. And I know we're playing our Gen X card right now, but it is what it is. Learn math, people.
I didn't grow up with the internet or cable TV.
No. Well, I did have cable, but I didn't have the internet. In fact, when they came out with scientific calculators and all that, I was just like, I don't want that. No.
Too much stuff. Yeah, exactly. But but we have this mediocrity in our life. We may or may not. It's just the path of least resistance that we go down. And we talked about it earlier in challenging yourself in doing hard things. And so what I tell people to do in the way that you can kill mediocrity in your life is you can compete. And I don't mean, go find a flag football team or, LARPers out. Not that there's anything wrong with LARPers. I think they're, it's a cool looking thing, playing out your fantasies in real life.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like, like Dungeons and Dragons. It's this whole group of people, and they go out and they have full costumes, and they put on these for real, battling in parks and places. I saw it a little bit in San Diego.
So it's D&D cosplay, basically.
Something like that, yeah. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but it's something like that. And they're yeah. Anyway, or I tell people, just compete in kindness, compete in generosity. And compete against your ego, because your ego knows all your strengths. It knows all your weaknesses. It knows exactly what to tell you to make you mediocre. It knows what to tell you to not go work out or not go get in that ice bath or eat that, carb, whatever, that carb bomb over there versus like fasting. Like, I don't need to, like, I need energy. Yeah, your body has plenty of energy. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah.
So it's compete against the more you can compete, the better you will be in killing that mediocrity. The stronger you'll get, the stronger you will get. You like, oh, I failed. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Accept that failure. Like in killing that mediocrity, they work together.
And it's a willingness to fail and be comfortable with that helps you kill that mediocrity. It's like people, they're so afraid to fail, they don't do anything at all. I have people write me all the time because I'm a successful podcaster and author, and like, oh my gosh, I want to start a podcast. I'm like, start it. But I'm not good. And they come up with all these excuses, and I'm like, and that right there is why you will never do it.
Just
you gotta
do it.
You got to be willing to fall flat on your face. You got to be willing to look stupid. Trust me, I did when I first started, and there's some days I still look stupid, but like, I don't care anymore because I'm living the dream that I want to do. I wanted to do podcasting. I wanted to write books. I wanted to do all the things that I do. You wanted to start a CBD company post Navy SEAL career. You're doing it. There's some days it's grunt work. There's some days, wow, I got that email from that person that took my gummies and wow, it's changed their life. They're out of pain. They're sleeping better, Like, that's the thing that you have to be willing to do to overcome mediocrity, is take that step of faith. And I've seen it personally. I know you've seen it personally. And it's just a matter of just get over whatever it is that's got you scared.
Yeah. And so Tim Grover, who was Michael Jordan's coach for a super long time, he came up with this phrase called IDGAF. And you have to flex your IDGAF muscle. And IDGAF stands for I don't give a F.
Right.
And so once you're able to like figure that out, I say DGAF, don't give a fuck.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't. It just came right out.
You can say fuck on my podcast. So. Look, Mark Manson has the subtle art of not giving a fuck as a book out there. So I think we can be okay with having fuck as a word in the culture now. So
100%. And that so people become mediocre because they, just like you said, they worry about what someone else thinks. Who cares what someone else thinks? Just go and do it. Go take action.
Part of that is our age, though. We're at the age where we stopped giving a fuck a long time.
I cared about what people thought for a super long time, and those were some of the self-limiting beliefs that I had and other people have, and you probably got through it sooner. Being in a competitive environment, you care what other people think because you want to be number one. So you do care, but how you get there, you have to like change how you think about how you care.
Yes.
Like, I want to be successful. You get out of my way. Either you're with me or you're against me. So, So that's really how you kill mediocrity, is you compete against, in kindness, in generosity, and compete against your ego. The E is expose your fears, and we've already talked about fear quite a bit. And, it's not lions and tigers and bears or spiders or snakes, and I don't like any of those things, but it's the fear that lives in the back of your brain, in that deep, dark place in the back of your brain. And I talk about fear. Fear is like a vampire, because vampires, they live in the darkness and they suck the life out of you. Fear lives in that deep, dark part of your brain that you don't want to tell anyone about, and it sucks the life out of you. And how do you kill a vampire? You expose it to sunlight. How do you kill your fear? You expose, a stake through the heart. How do you, kill your fears? Is you expose them. And let's just say you were bullied as a kid. You have low self-esteem. Go take a Brazilian jiu-jitsu class for a year. Yeah. You're going to learn how to fight someone. You're going to learn how to defend yourself. You're going to learn a skill set, because you're going to be forced to fight someone in a safe environment. And you're going to learn a skill set that will help you defend yourself. And that will automatically increase your self-esteem when you're faced with whatever adversity. Maybe you're afraid of public speaking. Take a public speaking class. Take an acting class. You're going to learn very quickly that those people that are in that class with you, you think you're standing up there like stuttering and stumbling and whatever. You think that they want you to fail. They want you to succeed. They want you to get better. They want to help you get better.
Right.
And so once you are brave enough to expose that fear,
Yeah.
You will control that fear, and that fear will no longer control you. And then there's one last kind of tool that I tell people about. A friend of mine, he's also a business coach. His name is Sharon, and he says that fear does not exist on paper. And so when he's in the billionaire status, but he still gets stress and anxiety and all this other stuff. He's got lots of investments. And when he starts getting consumed by that fear, that stress, that anxiety, he'll pull over to a Starbucks, he'll get a cup of coffee, and he'll get a pen or a pencil and a piece of paper. And he'll write down everything that is bothering him.
Yes.
And then he'll read it and he'll be like, really? That's what was bothering me? Like the fear, like he pulled it out, it goes down his arm and onto that piece of paper. He's exposed it to sunlight, he's exposed it to the world. And now he controls that fear, and that fear no longer controls him. But that's a really hard thing for people to do, to be brave enough to expose the fear.
Yeah, I like the whole idea, by the way, of getting to the end of your life, and instead of regretting that you didn't do whatever you wanted to do, your dream, being glad that you did. Even if it didn't work out the way you wanted it to. Like, you've got this company now. You don't know how NW Recovery is going to do. You have hopes, you have dreams of what you would like for it to do, and you're busting your ass to make those things happen. But you took that chance. You're like, I believe in what I'm doing. I have a passion for it. I'm not going to have any regret that I didn't try. Whereas there's a lot of people in your position that they get paralyzed by the fear, don't even try. Then they get to the end of their life, and I wonder what would have happened if. Well, it's too late then, dummy. Don't lament the end of life. At least you would rather try and not see the success that you wanted than to not try at all.
Right. Like,
and regret it.
Failure is a good thing, that just like we talked about. It's okay to fail. Fail as often as you can, because that's how you're going to get smarter. That's how you're going to learn. And the D in that naked word is do the work. Because with all of this stuff, you can't not. You can't sit around and be successful. You can't sit around and get naked. You can't sit around and never quit. You can't sit around and accept failure because you're not doing anything. You can't sit around and kill mediocrity. You can't sit around and expose your fears. You have to do the work. So again, coming back to full circle, really to think like a Navy SEAL, to take control of your life, take control of your mind, is to get naked, is to never quit. And like I said in the beginning, you apply this to one area of your life. Don't try to apply it to everything, just one area. Whether it's getting up, whether it's like starting to write a book, whether it's part of your relationship, whether it's trying to become a better leader. I can apply these 5 principles into any business, into any area of anywhere. And I have some clients that I coach, and we talk about stuff that's going on with their company, or employees or coworkers, and I'm like, okay, so that's they're not accepting failure, and this is some things that maybe you can do to help them figure that out, or killing mediocrity, or whatever it is. So what they need to make 20 phone calls a day, cold calls, or warm calls, or pick up the phone and call someone versus sending an email. Like, have a personal experience with someone.
Absolutely. By the way, I forgot to mention at the beginning, we got connected by a mutual friend of ours. You saw her at a conference that you were at with your product. She was at the same conference as a vendor as well, and you guys were right next to each other. And she told you about me, and Lindsay is her name. Hi, Lindsay.
Yep. Hello, Lindsay.
Friends, we talk often, and she's like, Jimmy, I got this guy, William Branum. He's amazing. I think you're gonna love him. And then, okay, Lindsay, send him my way. I'll talk to him. And yeah, you were amazing, dude. So thank you, Lindsay, for helping. To the Naked Warrior Recovery guy, William Branum. Go check him out, Naked Warrior Recovery. His website, nw-recovery.com. I think I've got most of your products that you sent to me. Most of the things were the energy. Definitely get the energy, but dude, the gummies. Please don't run out of these gummies. What was interesting?
I actually just ran out of strawberry lemonade. They're on back order right now. They're coming. I still have green apple though.
What's interesting was you sent me an original kind of care package, and then I got a reorder. I reordered some of the gummies, and the new ones were like a softer texture. I was like, ooh, I like that, little bit softer. So it's fun, when you kind of, I guess you're homemade batching them. They're going to have a little bit differences here and there, taste, texture, and that kind of thing. So
Real quickly for those 5 SEAL secrets, those like that get naked mindset. If your listeners go to the website, the number 5 SEAL SEAL secrets.com, 5sealsecrets.com, put in your name and your email, and I will email you a PDF of this document that really lays out in quite a bit more detail about what each one of those letters of the acronym mean. And to kind of share a story, I was talking to a buddy of mine. He's in the outdoor apparel industry, and he's like the lead designer for some stuff. And this company just got like a big infusion of cash from a VC company. And so there's a lot of pressure on the CEO to like, they want their money back as quickly as possible. It's like double revenue every quarter over quarter. And so I guess the communication between, my buddy and the CEO, there was like some things didn't go quite as smoothly as they should have. And so I was talking to my buddy and I said, well, let's talk about like, why don't you meet with your CEO and figure out like, near, medium, and long-term goals of the company and like where they want to go. I'm trying to strategize with them. And but I'm also, here's the mindset thing that I came up with, because he's struggling with some other stuff, recovering alcoholic and, toxic relationships. And I'm like, here, check this out, 5sealsecrets.com. He got the document, he printed it out, he read it, he laminated, he stuck it to his wall. That's it right there. And then he went into the CEO's office and he started, yes, sir. It's not quite a book, but it will be a book one day. I can help you with that. He went into the CEO's office and he said, he started the conversation and he's a little bit reserved. And he's like, listen, Joe, or whatever the guy, listen, Jimmy, I'm afraid that I'm not going to be able to perform for you. And so he went in being honest and being vulnerable, and the CEO had no idea what to do with him. He was like, stop. Number one, why are you being honest? And number two, why are you saying you're afraid? And he went into like the whole thing. And by the way, my buddy sent me his 5 SEAL secrets, and he talks about exposing your fears. I'm afraid that I'm not going to be able to perform for you if you communicate with me in this certain fashion and and we don't have the whatever. He was like, oh, okay, check. I understand. Can you send me that document so that I can, and he shared it with several other people in the company. And so I'm trying to turn that into a little bit of a speaking engagement or maybe a coaching event. So,
dude,
so it's a free document. Please, go in there, 5sealsecrets.com, name and email, and then I will it's an automation thing, and I'll email it directly to you.
Beautiful. Well, William, it was a pleasure having you on here today, and
thank you, sir.
Appreciate all that you're doing and all that you are.
And lastly, I'm creating a promo code so that your listeners can get 20% off of all of our Naked Warrior products. And that promo code is Jimmy.
Excellent. And again, the website
will give you 20% off.
Perfect. And again, the website, nw-recovery.com. Well, William, thank you so much, my brother. It's been a pleasure talking. Sir. And best wishes to you moving forward. And if you ever want to write that book, you got a bud that knows how to do that. So I'd be happy to help you.
I appreciate that.
All right, bud.
Yes, sir. All right. Talk to you soon.
Tired of playing the mask game? Me too. That's why I wanted to tell you about the Unmask. This is a breathable, completely breathable. It covers, you can't even see that it's breathable, but it's breathable. Whether you're going on a plane, having to go into a store and wearing this thing, playthemaskgame.com is how you can get this mask. They come in all kinds of colors and everything. In fact, right there, you can see right through it what it is, but when you're wearing it, it does not look like it's anything different, but it's breathable, baby. Playthemaskgame.com.